Hello, it's the 13th of June. I hope this video finds you well. Thank you so much for being with me for another Renew Every Morning. And today we're going to be thinking about a verse from Psalm 73 and verse 26. So that's going to be our theme today. And here's the verse. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God, and I'm sorry to do this. This is a kind of real Bible teacher's thing. This is really important. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God. And that but God is always so crucial because it's going to tell you something else, something greater is going to happen. And this particular verse, the psalmist Asper opens up a most amazing portal for us from which we're going to be able to see something we might not necessarily have seen otherwise. But God is is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. So my flesh and my heart, they may well fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Now, this is what I'm saying. The psalmist has opened up something to us. He's opened up an insight into permanence and impermanence. And this is something we don't really talk much about within the Christian community, but is a really important thing for us to think about. We think perhaps that the flesh and the heart are all there is. And because of that, we miss the much, much deeper truth that the heart can be strengthened in God itself. And that changes everything. That you see, this body of ours will fade away. Yeah, I understand that. But there is a permanence beyond the impermanence. And that's the thing. The problem is that we've been taught to cling to the impermanent. Youth, status, vitality. And that clinging, that holding on to what's already gone causes suffering. It's like a snake trying to hold on to skin that's already shed. It's like a butterfly trying to hold on to its caterpillarness. It's gone. We are being transformed. We are constantly being renewed in all we are. But you see, this is the point. We need to learn to dwell in this present moment, to rest in the reality of what actually is. And that's the problem. We over-identify with the failing flesh. We over-identify with this body of ours. And we lose sight of the deeper unity. We lose sight of the divine strength beneath all things. Now, Asaph was one of David's chief musicians. He was a prophet, 1 Chronicles chapter 2, Chronicles 1:25, is it? But you'll remember there was a problem with Asaph, and he fell into a sin, and his sin wasn't rebellion, it was resentment. In Psalm 73, he says, my feet almost slipped as I just saw the wicked flourishing and I lost my perspective. Oh my God. Hello? Has that ever happened to you? My feet almost slipped. I see these people who just day after day don't keep the rules, don't care, cheat, steal, rob, abuse. And I thought, what the hell? But he says, I saw the wicked flourishing, but then he says, interestingly, his restoration came not through discipline, but he said, until I entered the sanctuary. And I was in the presence again. It's that in the stillness, in the quietness, in the stopping, he saw it again. He saw clearly. You know, in one of my books, I was rubbish with books yesterday, by the way, and I've got them with me today just to make sure I don't forget to tell you about them. In one of my books, the first book I ever read, actually called The Bonsai Conspiracy. I had it here, The Bonsai Conspiracy. In The Bonsai Conspiracy, I wrote that envy was a signal of a kind of constrained identity. It's what happens when we're trapped in the world of comparison. There's nothing worse than that. We start to compare ourselves with other people. Paul contrasts envy as a work of the flesh, and he does this beautiful parallel. I do it hopefully justice in The Bonsai Conspiracy when I look at the distinction, the way he kind of ladders this idea of the work of the flesh and how it descends into this very chaotic space. And he parallels it and contrasts it with the fruit of the Spirit, and it's really beautiful. But the point about the bonsai, I guess, the envy in the bonsai is it's a kind of, it reflects a root bound life. And Asper breaks the pot when he returns to the sanctuary and sees things as they truly are. Because the point about the bonsai, of course, is it's being miniaturized, isn't it? It's being put in a shallow pot, and every time it tries to, so it can't really bury its roots in Christ anywhere. And every time it kind of moves out and tries to grow, someone comes along with the shooting shear, legalism. You should have more. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. But that's what he gets freed of. And this is a really, really important idea, right? So here he says the flesh in the Hebrew, the flesh idea here is about the mortal body and its frailty. The heart is thinking here about the inner emotions, the inner being. And they waste away. They get spent. But that's not the whole story, is it? That's the outer story. The strength, the rock, the fortress, the unbreakable, unshakable support, the portion, that rightful inheritance, our identity in Christ is forever who we are. And so if I just read you that once more, just listen. My flesh and my heart will fail. That is guaranteed. But God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. And I just think that's just super, super helpful. It really is. It's so straightforward. Even if I fall apart, God holds me together. That's the thing. This verse removes all the limitations, and it leads us through from that notion of impermanence to the permanence that is our position in Christ. And I think that's just lovely. Anyway. The idea of rock here is that that's the name of God, and the portion, you'll remember, won't you, that the Levites see themselves as their inheritance was God himself. That's their portion. And this is kind of where this is going. We know very well that clinging to that which is impermanent brings suffering, but standing in the presence with the permanent brings peace. And that's the simple thing. So I ask you today, where are we just being exhausted, be it emotionally or spiritually? Do you and I believe that God's strength is enough when we just don't feel it is? And what would it mean to call God our portion? What would that really mean? Can you imagine? Not my backup, but my everything, my all in all. I just wonder. Well, listen, I've been so rubbish at promoting these books, so I'm going to have one quick go at it for you. You know, you'll find this book difficult to get hold of, I think, now. The Bonsai Conspiracy, it's out of print, sadly. I wrote this, it was published in Brazil. You might still find it on Amazon, worth a try, but it's a good book. And this one here is Safe and Sound. Safe and Sound was the first one I wrote in the Until Christ is Formed trilogy. There's a third book on the way, but I haven't quite figured it out yet. This is based on the idea of 1 John 2, 12 to 14, and this is the little child's book, but don't be fooled by that, because what you get grounded in this book is super important. I'll do a whole breakdown on the 1 Corinthians 13, and here this is a super helpful book. And then this book is called Grace for Grown-ups. This is the one I was talking to you about the other day, and this book is about the young man's journey. This is this middle transition phase. So look, if you want these books, you can get them on Amazon, no problem whatsoever. If you want to get them from me, then I think Amazon sells them for about £10 each. If you want to get them from me, I'll sell them to you both for £15 each. So please feel free to do that. Just inbox me and do whatever you want. Happy to sign them, whatever feels good to you. Anyway, sales over, call over. Thank you so much for being with me, and I look forward to being with you next time. Enjoy the day. Bless you. Bye bye now.